7-day National Workshop on Effective Communication Skills organized by Lions Club International, Chidambaram Excellence and Pondicherry Excellence in collaboration with VHN SN College, Virudhunagar. Now I invite Dr. S. Kalavani ma'am, Lion Member Chidambaram Excellence, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, Annamala University, to introduce the resource person. Ma'am, please.
Yes. Good evening to all. Our today's resource person, Dr. S. Ramanathan, line member working as Assistant Professor in Department of English, VHNSN College, Virudhunagar. He has presented 58 papers and published 48 articles. He has written 5 books. He gave 15 invited lectures also. He is the editorial board member in journals. Thank you. Once again, I invite you, sir. Thank you.
Ma'am, shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Kalaivani, for nice words on me in the form of introduction. Hope you can all hear me.
Yes, sir.
It's my pleasure that I'm here to meet you on this forum in a title which is entitled as the development of productive skills. Before starting my lecture, I would like to thank the dignitaries for giving me the chance to make some deliberations on this topic. Dear dignitaries and participants of this program who are eagerly waiting to listen to me, a very good afternoon to you. The topic for today's discussion is, I think you can listen to my screen. It's visible, I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. It's okay, fine. So this is the topic for today's discussion: productive skills. So before entering into the lecture, I have a small activity for the participants. Please take that activity to know where you are in the title. Let's know where we are. This is a simple activity with some simple questions on the communication skills that we are going to discuss today. First 4 questions or first 4 entries is based on the true or false type, and the last one is the question that you have to respond into your chat box. Please take this activity and respond it in your chat box. Please do that. Let me see some of the responses, and then we can go for that. Yes, we have. Yes, we have some responses from the side of the participants. With these responses, let's see what happens, and let's come back to these activities at the end of. Let's come back to these activities at the end of the program and check whether we have learned or all our answers are right or not. Let's verify at the end. So let's see what kind of a plan we have for this lecture. This is the plan. Today's lecture has been planned in this way, explaining what the receptive and productive skills are. Speaking process, the strategies, writing the process, different forms of writing, and if time permits, we can go through the essay writing, nuances of essay writing. So let's understand. All our discussions are based on this book. Okay, fine. Let's understand what is communicative skill and why it's divided into two divisions, two categories as receptive and productive. Communication skills or communicative skills are the skills required to share and receive information. So whenever you find sharing, there must be a word, there must be an end to receive the information that you share. So it's a process of sharing and receiving information. So we have two phrases here. One is receive and another one is share. Some skills are necessary to share the information and some are necessary to receive the information. And the received informations are stored in our mind or in our brain as the knowledge. So these communicative skills with this aim of sharing and receiving, these skills are divided into two groups. First is the receptive skills that you might have learned yesterday, and the productive skills. Receptive skills are the skills that are required to receive the information. Productive skills are the skills that are used to express yourselves. So in receptive skills, you receive the information. In productive skills, you express the information or share the information using these skills. As far as these productive skills are concerned, it has two skills. One is the speaking skill and the other is the writing skill. Let's see one by one what are the nuances of speaking skill and what are the nuances of the usage of language and how we can do it in a better way. This is what we are going to see in this lecture. So we can have a slight modification on the title. The title is given as development of productive skills. I would like to do it like this: enriching the productive skills. So we can go for the next, the significance of speaking. Speaking is the primary activity. Speaking is the natural activity. It comes to you by listening to many persons. It comes to you naturally. You don't take any effort to learn speaking. So when the significance of speaking is concerned, there is a quotation worth noting here is by Shakespeare. Mend your speech a little, lest you may mar your fortunes. So this nice quotation is from Shakespeare, and Shakespeare talks about the significance of speaking skill. The speaking skill is the primary element that can take you to success. That's why Shakespeare said that you may lest in the sense it gives you the meaning of unless, lest you may mar your fortunes. So your fortunes may be possible only when you have an enriched or good speaking skills. Okay, here are the components of speaking skills. The components: the first component, message, audience, speech style, coding, and feedback. Let's see one by one what a message is. Message, actually, the message is the heart of speaking skill. Loosely, it is known as the content of your speaking. It is a speaker who decides what is going to be spoken. It's a speaker who decides the content of the program. That particular content is called as the message. So the message is processed in the mind of the speaker. The speaker processes the entire idea that he has to deliberate, and then he presents. This is message. And audience. A successful speaker has to know the audience in terms of their age, their sex, their qualifications, their previous knowledge on that particular topic that he is going to make deliberations. So audience is the very important part or important element in speaking, because without audience, you can't speak. The audience is the integral part of speaking skill or any other skill. The speech style, the next one is speech style. The style can be divided into two forms or two groups or two categories. One is the formal and informal. All our official communications come under the category of formal style, formal speech. And the speech between the friends, speech or discussion in the family can come under the category of informal speech. So language that you are going to use, the words that you are going to use is decided based on these situations, whether you are going to take up this conversation, whether you are going to take up this discussion in a formal situation or an informal situation. So you have to be very careful in the selection of words for the formal and informal situations. And the next is coding. When the speaker conceives the idea, he has to code it in a language, put it in the form of words, put it in the form of sentences. This process is coding. And then feedback. The speaking, we are looking into only the part of the speaker. How this feedback is useful to the speaker. Feedback is not the function of the speaker, but it is an inherent part of the speaking skill, since the speaker has to know how successfully he has communicated or how successfully he has shared the information he wanted to share. So these are the components of speaking skills. Strategies. If you want to be a best speaker, what are all the strategies that you have to observe are going to be discussed in this section, strategies. If you want to be a good speaker, first you must be a good listener. We have grouped these skills into two categories, as I have already told you, receptive and productive. The receptive skills and productive skills are interlinked. They are interdependent. You can't separate those things. You have to listen first. How this listening may be helpful to the speaker. What are all the aspects he has to listen when he is listening to a talk, if he wants to be a best speaker? He has to listen to the usage of words and structures. He has to listen to the pronunciation of the person in the video. All these things must be taken care of. So listening is the stepping stone for speaking. If you are a good listener, you can eventually be a good speaker. Of course, there is no doubt, absolutely, you need not doubt on these things. The second element or the second strategy is be brief. As far as possible, you have to use only a few words to describe or discuss an idea. Don't use the lengthy sentences. The lengthy sentences may make the listener bored. So in order to avoid that, be brief. Brevity is the soul of wit. And men of few words are the best men. So if you want to be a best speaker, use a few words to describe a particular event or a particular element. And the next strategy is about the use of words. When we talk about the brevity, use of words comes together. And as far as the use of words is concerned, you have to use the simple words. Of course, you may want to show your industriousness, or you may show your intelligence to the listeners. And for that purpose, you may use the hard words or the words which are not familiar to the listeners, by which you can show your intelligence, but your purpose may be failed. You may fail in your purpose. As far as possible, use the simple words. An example can be cited, a very famous example, which many of you may know that. Shashi Tharoor has written a book entitled as The Paradoxical Prime Minister. He has used one of the longest words in the English language in that particular book to describe what kind of governance is going on. That particular word is floccinaucinihilipilification. Floccinaucinihilipilification. Of course, some of you might have had that particular word. And the word yields you a meaning of underestimation. When you say this is an exercise of underestimation, the listener can easily understand. Because when you are speaking to a mass of people, those people may not have the facility of looking into the dictionaries. Speaking and having the feedback to the speaker is the immediate process. So in that process, he may not verify it to the dictionaries and respond to you. So instead of using floccinaucinihilipilification, you can use underestimation. This is only a simple example for using the simple words. So as far as possible, you have to use the words which are familiar to the audience, the words which are simple, with good pronunciation. Good pronunciation is mandatory. When you talk of the good pronunciation, obviously you may come across the bad pronunciation too. What's bad pronunciation? We can hear from Daniel Jones, who says, bad pronunciation is the way of talking which is difficult for others for understanding. Yes. When you use the bad pronunciation, obviously you may be in a problem. Your speech may not be comprehensible, and the listener may not understand. For that purpose, we have to use a common pronunciation. What's good and what's bad can be defined like this. Instead of good pronunciation and bad pronunciation, we can have the terminologies as common pronunciation of the words. And English language offers you a standardized pronunciation in the form of a received pronunciation. So we can try to follow that. But there is a question whether in all situation we can follow the received pronunciation or the common pronunciation, since we are accustomed to use the pronunciation for some words as we thought to have. So I have identified some of the words which are commonly mispronounced. I have identified some 15 words which are commonly mispronounced. Let's learn how to pronounce these words. The first word is pronounced as baby. Since it's a program and enriching your speaking skill, enriching your writing skill, these activities are mandatory, as I feel, so that I'm giving you these things. We are using the languages, we are using the words to make deliberations. So to make the successful deliberation or to make the successful speaking, it's mandatory to have the correct pronunciation or a standardized pronunciation or a common pronunciation among the language users. The first word is pronounced as baby. Kindly listen to it carefully. There is a small variation in it. First one is pronounced as baby in our daily context. And the correct pronunciation or the standardized pronunciation for that particular word is baby or baby. That's pronounced as baby. And the second one, many of us do pronounce it in a different way. Many of us pronounce it as grandeur. This is how we do that, grandeur. It is not grandeur. The correct pronunciation for that is grandeur. Grandeur. That's the correct pronunciation. Grandeur. And the next word is pronounced as mortgage. Mortgage. This is how we pronounce the word. It should be pronounced as mortgage. Mortgage. The R and T both are silent. So it should be pronounced as mortgage. And another commonly mispronounced word which refers to a room is the fourth one, the fourth entry. We pronounce it as suit. The actual or the standardized pronunciation for that particular word is sweet. Just like how you pronounce the word sweet, S-W-E-E-T. A candy is pronounced as sweet. Both these things are homophones. Sweet, that's the correct pronunciation of the fourth entry. And the fifth one, we used to say as woman, woman. It is not pronounced as woman, it is pronounced as women, women. And the next one is pronounced as police. Even the common men say this word as police. And the correct one is police, police. And the next one, we used to say this as video. I have been in a video call. The correct pronunciation for this is video. video. Yeah, well, only a small difference you can make to attain the standardized pronunciation. And the next one, we used to say as contribute. That is not actually contribute, that is contribute. The correct one is contribute. When it is considered as a noun, contribution, that's not contribution, contribution. When you come to pronounce the verb, you should pronounce as contribute. And the other entries are very famous. It's a vegetable. We used to pronounce it as cucumber. The correct one is cucumber. Cucumber. That's the correct pronunciation of that particular word. And the next one, we used to say as breakfast. That is not breakfast, that's breakfast. Breakfast. And the next one, we used to say as sword. The correct one is sword, not sword, sword. And the next one is pronounced as elite. Elite is the pronunciation that we are using. It is not elite, it's elite. Elite. And the next one, we used to say as receipt. Receipt. That is not receipt, it is pronounced as receipt with a silent P. Receipt. And now we are going to differentiate the pronunciation of two sets of words which are commonly mispronounced. The first word is a noun and the second one is a verb. The first one is written with an accent. The word has come to English from French. That's why it's written with an accent. The noun is, both the words are in a daily context pronounced in a similar way. The noun is pronounced as resume and the verb is pronounced as resume. We don't make any differences in the pronunciation of it. The actual pronunciation or the standardized pronunciation of the noun is resume. Resume. You know, obviously, you know the meaning of what resume is. And the verb is pronounced as resume. The first one is resume and the second one is resume. And the final set, it's also the combination of noun and verb. Both the spellings are similar and there are no accentuation. The noun and verb, we used to interchangeably pronounce these words. We say as comment or as comment. The question is which one is correct? The correct pronunciation for this group of words is the first one. The noun must be pronounced as comment, comment, and the verb as comment. There is a difference between these two things. So before going to the next part of the lecture, please take up this puzzle. The puzzle which you can have it. We can have some responses over this puzzle. A word speaks, this is the first one. A word speaks. I can be divided into two parts. The first part signifies a dog and the second part signifies the money that you need pay. Find me out. This is the voice of word. So you have to find out that particular word. What does the word mean? Or what is the exact word? A simple word can be divided into two parts. The first part signifies a dog And the second part is the money that you need to pay or you need pay. Can we have a few responses for this? Okay. The exact answer for this puzzle is current. C-U-R-R-E-N-T, current. You divide the word into two parts. The first part is cur, C-U-R, cur. Cur means a dog, and a rent means the money that you have to pay, right? And the next question for you to respond is, what do you call a sleeping bull? You can just think over that, and you can easily come to it. It's a machine. This is a clue for you. It's a machine. What do you call a sleeping bull? Yes, the correct response is the bulldozer. Bulldozer is the correct response. Bull, douse means sleep. So bulldozer is the correct response. So with that few ideologies, we can go for the next part. As far as the words are concerned, we have to concentrate on the correct usage of words to be a successful communicator. The first one is, let me explain these examples to you. Correct usage of words. First one is tell. Obviously, you may know the meaning of these words. This word, tell. It is synonymously used with say. Remember that tell is a transitive verb, but many of us use it in an intransitive way. To be correct in the usage of the word tell, you have to use it only with an object that's followed. So the correct two numbers are given here. We usually read the numbers like this: 94, 8, 55, 70, 33, 2. This is a common practice. This is a common practice that you may have. When you are saying the four numbers, we used to say like this. But remember, double is a verb that cannot be used with numbers and letters. This is a common rule in English. So you have to say these numbers as 9, 8, 5, 5, 7, 0, 3, 3, 2, not 33 or 666. And the next number is 6, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 3, 2, 5, 0. This is the correct way of telling the numbers. So remember, double is a verb that cannot be used with the numbers and letters, not as double A, double C, not as this, CC or AA. This is how we have to mend our pronunciations. Mend our use the word, use the words. And we have another set of words which can be differentiated: affect and effect, continual and continuous, agree and accept. Of course, many of you might have taken this exercise, agree and accept, the difference between agree and accept. We can start from affect and effect. Affect is always a verb, whereas effect can be used as a verb as well as a noun. Example, we can have an example for this usage: affect and effect. His character affected me, or his words affected me furiously. So we have used the word affect. Affect is always used as a verb. Effect. Effect of his speech. Effect of his speech was good. Effect of his speech was good. Here we have used effect as a noun. When you want to use it as a verb, it has a different meaning. The meaning of effect is bring about. His character affected in love. His character affected in love. So it's clear that affect is a verb. Affect is always a verb, whereas effect is used both as a noun and as a verb. And the next set, continual and continuous. Both these things are similar, it seems to us. It seems like this to us. Continual and continuous. Continual come to mean that it's a continuous process with a small breaks. It's continually raining, or it was continually raining. By the word by the sentence, you come to mean that there was rain for a particular period of time, and then the weather was good, and then you have rain again. Continual. Continuous, there is no break. Without having any break, it was raining. Agree and accept. This is the one that I have given you in the first exercise itself. Both these things are similar in meaning, but in usage it has a difference. Agree can be used before the infinitives. He agreed to speak in the conference. He agreed to speak in the conference. Not he accepted to speak. He agreed to speak in the conference. We are going to use accept. He accepted the offer. He accepted the offer. So note the difference that agree can be used before the infinitives, whereas accept cannot be used before the infinitives. This is the difference that I would like to mention as far as agree and accept is concerned. And to enrich your speech, you have to use the correct tone. What do we mean by tone? We have two sets of tones in English, commonly speaking: the falling tone and rising tone. Each tone conveys the meaning of the sentences that you are using. Consider an example of this sentence. He is going to market. I haven't used any tone to this. He is going to the market. When you say this sentence with a falling tone like this, he is going to the market. He is going to the market. there is a falling tone in this sentence. The falling tone suggests that you are very sure that the particular person is going to market. When you are using the particular statement with a rising tone, like this, he is going to market, he is going to market, you have some amount of suspicion in your mind whether he is going to market or somewhere else. Or you may want to pose a question to another person about where the particular person goes or going. So these are the variations in tones. And as far as the speaking and writing is concerned, you have to concentrate on the meaning. I have given you two sentences. And on both the sentences, you may find a common letter as I. Common word, not letter. Common word as I. This particular word has two different meanings. In the first, it's very explicit. The meaning is so explicit that that particular word I has the explicit meaning as we are using to signify ourselves. I brought water. And in the second sentence was taken from a great writer. He has written a book in the name of the Book of Mirdad, where he has used the particular structure. Your eye is divided. The whole sentence goes like this. Only this, the meaning for this particular word can be understood when it's used within the context. So the meaning is very implicit. The full sentence or the full part of that particular essay, that particular book is this. When you find problems with your partners, it seems that your eye is divided. So in the second sentence, by using the word I, the writer comes to say that your soul, I signifies your soul, meaning is so implicit. So you have to concentrate that too. With that particular note, or with that short note, we come to the end of the speaking skills. And now we are going to concentrate on writing skills. These are the stages of writing. When you compare writing with speaking, writing has some amount of permanence. If you want to save something, some of your thoughts, you have to keep it in writing. So the stages of writing, first we have planning, translating, reviewing, and monitoring. Compare it with the stages that I have given at the beginning of my speech for speaking. Planning and message can be similar. In this part, you are going to decide what we are going to write, the content, how we are going to write, the method, to whom we are going to write, the audience. So while planning, you have to be clear on all these parts. What we are going to write, how we are going to write, and to whom we are going to write. And translating, the next stage is translating. We have a clear-cut planning of the content that we are going to write about. So the idea is stored in the mind of the writer. That particular idea must be transformed into language. The selection of the language, translating. Translating is nothing but transmitting the ideas into language. The next one is reviewing. So in the process of translating, you have written the text. This is the first draft of your text. Now you are going to review your text, review what you have written. In this stage, you are going to revise the entire writing and you are going to make changes in your writings. This process is called as reviewing. And the final one is monitoring. This is not a separate process, but it is an inherent part of all these three parts: planning, translating, and reviewing. Monitoring can happen in all these stages. Right. And the next one, forms of writing. A very minimum form of writing is filling the forms. Wherever you go, you may be given a form and you may be asked to fill the form. This is one of the activity that we can indulge in our daily walks of life. Filling the forms. Information transfer. By the way, the information transfer, you may be given a graph or you may be given a picture. That particular picture or a graph can be transformed into language, into a paragraph by using a particular language. Diaries. Diaries or diary writing is also a form of writing which is very, very personal. And the term paper. Term paper is nothing but what we are used to write as articles. Term paper. These are some of the forms of writing. Of course, there are many things just like composition, dialogue writing, and all these things. We have taken these things as examples for forms of writing, different forms of writings. And the final part of my lecture, essay writing, writing essays. How the essay is divided. Before that, what's an essay? Essay is a well-organized prose piece. A well-organized prose piece is called as an essay. So what are the parts into which the essay is divided? The first part is introduction. Of course, you need not say this is an introduction. You need not entitle this as introduction, but there must be an introduction to the essay and the body. And the last part is the conclusion. These are the parts of an essay. What we are going to do in each part. First, the introduction. Introduction may have definitions. Definition about the subject matter. This definition about the content you have selected. Or a question on the content. It may start with a question, a proverb, or an anecdote. Sorry, there is a mistake, I think, in the spelling of anecdote. Sorry for that. Anecdote. You can introduce your essay by using any of these devices. You may have definition, question, proverb, anecdote. Commonly, people use rhetoric questions. Rhetorical questions are the questions which needs no answer, or the answer is an inherent part of the question. Just like you may have an example for rhetoric questions. The example is this. Who dislikes money? Who dislikes money? Is a rhetoric question where you can find the answer, inbuilt answer is yes. So to make your essay interesting, it must be aptly introduced. Only when you can make the learners read your essays. Okay, the next part, body of the essay. For making out the body is divided into some paragraphs. Each paragraph may have an idea. Each paragraph may be called as the supportive portions of a content. Each idea must support to the content that you have selected to write. So what are the devices that we are going to use when having the paragraphs? The first is description, or you can have narration. You can report an incident, or you may have arguments. These are the elements, or these are the devices that can be used when writing the essays. Writing the paragraphs of the essay, body of the essay. Description, narration, reporting, and arguing. Right. And the final part, conclusion of the essay. In the essay, I have given you 3 parts: the introduction, body, and conclusion. And the concluding part, you are going to summarize the entire argument or the entire discussion that you have propounded in the body. You are going to summarize. While summarizing, you can use all the devices that you have used in the introduction itself. So conclusion, we are going to summarize the entire discussion, entire argument, right? With that few note, we come to the end of this lecture. Obviously, for writing and speaking, we are using a particular language. Virginia Woolf observes, language is the wine upon lips. It's in the hands of the speaker or the writer how well he is going to use the language to create resonance among the listeners or the readers. So with that few note, we come to the end of this lecture. Once again, I'd like to go to the first slide in which I have given you some activities, and let's see the answers for those questions. The first question, the first set of questions was given in the form of true or false. And the first one is, speaking is a simulated activity. I have already told you that speaking is a natural activity. There is no place for simulation, so it's false. The way you speak stimulates resonance among the listeners. Yes, to stimulate resonance, we used to speak. To cause effect, we used to speak. And the third one, the use of words and sentence structures depends on the situation. It's very clear, it's true. And the final one, on speaking, we need not bother about the grammatical mistakes. It's a false assertion. Grammatical categories or grammaticalness, or the correct grammaticalness, is very important as far as speaking is concerned. So thank you very much for being with me for some time and listening to me very carefully. So if you have any suggestions, or if you want any clarifications on this, please write to me in these platforms. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am, it's over to you. Now the participants can interact with the speaker. If you have any questions to clarify, you can ask me. Please do that. All the participants are welcome. Sure, we will send you the PPTs in the group. So no need to bother about the PPTs, which will be sent to you in the groups. If you have any questions on these aspects of speaking and writing, you can do that. Yes, can you please explain again the difference between agree and accept? Yes. Agree and accept both are synonymous. Both are synonymous. You can find a simple difference in the usage of words. Agree can be used before the infinitives. By the word infinitive or by the phrase infinitive, we come to mean that a verb that is preceded by to, preposition to. So when we are going to use that particular structure, we have to use the word agree. Example was given. Again, I would like to reproduce the same example. He agreed to speak. He agreed to speak. Not he accepted to speak. He agreed to speak is the correct form, more acceptable. Whereas accept can't be used before the infinitives. If you want to use accept, you should not use the infinitive. He accepted the offer of talking. In the first sentence, I have used agreed. He agreed to speak. And the second sentence, he accepted the offer of speaking. So this is the difference. Hope you have understood. And the next question. Yes, the next question is I'm searching on the chat box. Yes, double, the use of double. As I've told you that double is a word. If you want to use it correctly, if you want to use the word double correctly, you should not use it with the numbers and letters. This is what I have said. Double cannot be used with numbers and letters. For example, you can't say a number as 66 or 666, double and triple, both these things. Not 66, not 666. You have to say as 66 or as 666. That's the correct way of saying the numbers. So that was an exercise that I have given to you to say the numbers correctly. Double is a word that cannot be used before the letters and numbers. Okay, the next question, I don't find any questions. Sorry, ma'am, is there any questions that I have left out? Ma'am, is there any questions that I have left out? Just check in the chat box and tell me if there is anything we can answer for that.
I just joined again now because I left the connection, so I couldn't see any message in the chat.
Okay, fine.
Okay, shall we conclude this session? Shall we conclude this session?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now I welcome Now I welcome Meena Abarna, Lion member, Chidambaram Excellence City, to give feedback for this session.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening to all. Good evening, sir. Your session is very informative, sir. Today, nowadays, communication skill is very important nowadays, major role. So, very informative and useful session. We lot of understand about your way of speaking, writing. We are going to use, for example, the messages, speech style, coding, feedback, and also you are telling about how we are going to write the essay parts, for example, introduction, body, conclusion. And one more very interesting thing is you are telling about the mispronunciation letters. What are the letters we have done the mistakes? So in correct way you are telling. So these things are very useful for us, sir. So thanks for your session, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your nice words. Thank you for all the participants for your patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Okay, participants, feedback form is posted in the chat box. Kindly find that and you do that. In the chat box, there is feedback link. Please finish it. I thank Dr. Ramanathan sir. Actually, he is also one of the organizing secretary of this program, as line member, assistant professor in BHN SN College, Department of English, Rudhanagar. I thank him for all for organizing as well as giving a wonderful session today to the participants. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And in the chat box, we find many information about the link is not working. Please
Okay,
resend the
I'll
feedback
check.
link.
I'll check.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Check now. Please check now. I'll check again. Okay, I will give you again. Wait for a few minutes. I'll give you again. Wait for a few seconds. 1 minute. Yes, it is here. Kindly check. Kindly check it now. I will also check. Yes, it's work now. It works now. Okay, please, all of you, find the link in the chat box. Okay, please do it quickly. All of you switch on your video mode that we can have a photo. Those who are here can come in video. Yes, please come in the video. We can have your photo. Others, please, who are here can come in the video. Yes. Yes. Others, please. We can have your photo. It's very happy to see you all in the video. Yes. Yes, please. I have not started still. I'm waiting for others to join. Okay. I took one snap. Please wait, I'll take another one. Yes, I'll take another. Okay. Last photo. You can even ask, enter it newly. I'll take the last photo. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I think all of you have finished your feedback form. You can conclude with you all. Okay, thank you. I'll send again. Please check the feedback form again. Wait a minute, I'll post. Check the feedback form in the chat box. Check the feedback form in the chat box, please. Those who are not completed. Those who have completed the feedback form can leave the meeting. We can meet you tomorrow. We will meet you tomorrow. Yes, okay. I'll finish the meeting now. Thank you. No problem. If you have submitted, it will will break. That's no problem. Okay, thank you all. Thank you. We can meet tomorrow.